3,000 meters beneath the surface of the ocean, the last traces of sunlight disappear. There is no gradual twilight here, no soft fading into night. Light simply stops existing, swallowed by a darkness so complete, it feels almost tangible, like a weight pressing in from every direction. At this depth, the temperature hovers just above freezing. The pressure is more than 300 times greater than what you're experiencing right now. And yet, something enormous is descending calmly through the abyss. A sperm whale moves with slow, deliberate strokes of its tail, conserving energy, conserving oxygen. Nearly an hour has passed since its last breath. At the surface, its heart would beat around 60 times per minute. Down here, it beats barely 10. Blood is being rationed with astonishing control. Redirected away from the skin, the digestive organs, anything not immediately essential. Oxygen is reserved almost entirely for the brain and the powerful muscles that continue pushing the whale deeper into the dark. This is not desperation. This is biological mastery. Every dive is a controlled negotiation with suffocation, and the whale enters it willingly, again and again, dozens of times every single day. Then suddenly, a sound detonates in the blackness. 230 decibels. It is one of the loudest biological sounds ever recorded on Earth, discovered not by sight, but by instruments that struggled to measure it. Louder than a jet engine, louder than standing beside a rocket at liftoff. But unlike those chaotic explosions of noise, this sound is focused into a narrow forward beam. The click tears through the water like a spear of pressure, traveling more than a mile before fading. When the echoes return, they assemble into something extraordinary inside the whale's mind. A detailed three-dimensional map of everything ahead. In a world without light, the whale sees with sound. The clicks accelerate now, shifting into rapid bursts, what scientists call a terminal buzz, the acoustic signature of a predator closing in. Something is moving out there. The sperm whale is hunting. But even an animal this large, longer than a city bus and weighing up to 60 tons, does not rule these depths unchallenged. Because scattered across its grey skin are scars, pale circular wounds etched into flesh thicker than a human torso. Suction cut marks, some nearly a foot wide, lined with cuts from rotating hooks. Evidence of violent encounters fought far below the reach of sunlight. For centuries, sailors whispered about monsters with arms long enough to wrap around ships, creatures capable of dragging entire vessels beneath the waves. We called them myths, until the whales surfaced, carrying the proof. The giant squid is real, and somewhere below, predator and adversary still collide. Two evolutionary titans meeting in silent combat in a world no human has ever witnessed firsthand. We know these battles happen only because the survivors rise bearing scars, which raises a deeper question. How does something this enormous survive in a place so utterly hostile to life? The answer borders on the impossible. Sperm whales are not merely adapted to the deep, they are engineered for it. Their lungs collapse safely during descent, preventing nitrogen from dissolving into the bloodstream, the condition divers know as the bends. Their rib cages flex inward instead of snapping. Their blood carries extraordinary concentrations of hemoglobin, while their muscles are saturated with oxygen-binding myoglobin so dense the tissue appears almost black. Even their metabolism slows dramatically, transforming the whale into a master of conservation. And then there is the head, massive, rectangular. nearly a third of the animal's entire body length. Inside lies the spermaceti organ, a vast chamber filled with waxy oil that functions as an acoustic lens, focusing sound into a beam of astonishing precision. It allows the whale not only to detect prey, but to interpret density, movement, even internal structure. Imagine perceiving reality entirely through echoes, landscapes translated into sensation, living creatures revealed as distortions in returning sound waves. It is less like sight and more like touching the world from a distance. This is not simply survival. It is dominance in a dimension humans cannot enter. Yet for most of our history, we did not see a biological marvel. We saw something else. We saw fuel. When early sailors first encountered sperm whales, fear came quickly. Nothing about them looked natural. Their heads were too large, too squared, like drifting slabs of stone. Their blow angled forward instead of rising upward, and the smell that lingered after they surfaced was thick, oily, unforgettable. But what unsettled sailors most were the sounds. Ships crossing calm oceans reported rhythmic knocking from beneath their hulls. Deliberate, metallic, impossibly loud. Some believed something was striking the ship from below. Others whispered about spirits trailing them across open water. What they were actually hearing was conversation. Sperm whales were speaking to one another in patterns powerful enough to travel for miles. Conversations unfolding beneath ships whose crews had no idea they were intruding. Then, in 1820, came the moment that permanently altered humanity's relationship with the deep. The whaling ship Essex was thousands of miles from land when a massive sperm whale surfaced nearby. Without warning, it charged. The impact jolted the vessel violently. Moments later, the whale disappeared beneath the surface, turned, and struck again. The second collision shattered the hull. Within hours, the Essex sank. Its crew drifted across the Pacific for months, exposed to starvation, dehydration, and a relentless sun. Eventually, desperation drove some to cannibalism. Decades later, the tragedy would inspire Moby Dick. But beneath the mythology was a growing and uncomfortable realization. The ocean held creatures powerful enough to destroy us, and perhaps intelligent enough to choose when to try. Yet fear could not compete with what the whale carried inside its enormous head. Spermaceti, a substance so valuable, it transformed the global economy. It burned brighter and cleaner than candles. It resisted freezing in winter temperatures. It lubricated the machines driving the Industrial Revolution. Before petroleum reshaped the modern world, spermaceti oil lit city streets, illuminated homes, and powered factories through the night. It was, quite literally, liquid light. So fleets spread outward from ports across America, Britain, and beyond. Dying whales released low, mournful calls that carried for miles underwater. Distress signals heard by pods far beyond the hunt, and the whales learned. Mothers positioned themselves between hunters and calves. Some whales fought back, smashing boats with their tails or diving deep enough to drag harpoon lines into chaos. But industry moves faster than evolution. Steamships replaced sails. Explosive harpoons replaced hand-thrown iron. Killing became mechanized, efficient, relentless. Thousands died each year. Then tens of thousands. Because females give birth only once every 5 to 7 years, after pregnancies lasting longer than a human's, populations collapsed with terrifying speed. By the early 20th century, humans had killed more than 1 million sperm whales, and still, we barely understood them. When the global moratorium on commercial whaling finally arrived in 1986, it was less a triumph than a rescue attempt made at the final possible moment. The species survived, barely. But what scientists began discovering afterward would challenge one of our deepest assumptions. That intelligence belongs primarily to us. To understand sperm whales, you must abandon the idea that intelligence has a single shape. Because in the silent depths, evolution built something astonishing. The sperm whale possesses the largest brain ever known to exist on Earth, weighing as much as 9 kilograms. But what matters is not just size, it is structure. Vast neural regions are devoted to interpreting sound, allowing the whale to construct intricate spatial models of a world it will never see. Imagine navigating reality through echoes alone. A mountain becomes a reflection of sound. A squid becomes a flicker of distortion. Another whale is recognized by the acoustic fingerprint of returning clicks. And those clicks are not random. They form patterns known as codas, rhythmic sequences exchanged within tight-knit family groups. Researchers have discovered that different clans possess distinct dialects. Caribbean whales do not communicate the same way as those in the Pacific. More astonishing still, calves are not born knowing these patterns. They learn them. They listen to mothers and grandmothers. They imitate. They practice until the rhythm becomes their own. This is culture, knowledge passed socially rather than genetically, something once believed to belong almost exclusively to humans. We are not the only species on Earth with complex language, but sperm whales influence the planet in ways even more fundamental than communication. Each dive pulls nutrients from the abyss toward the surface. When whales release waste in sunlit waters, iron fertilizes blooms of phytoplankton, microscopic organisms responsible for producing roughly half of Earth's oxygen. Every second breath you take may carry the invisible signature of systems these giants help sustain. Even in death, they transform the deep. When a whale falls to the seafloor, its body becomes an ecosystem capable of supporting life for decades, sometimes more than a century. Creatures arrive from the darkness: crabs, worms, translucent fish, entire communities flourishing because a giant has fallen. Life feeding on life in darkness older than humanity itself. They do not merely inhabit the ocean, they help regulate it. And sometimes, our worlds intersect. After centuries of slaughter, pollution, and noise, it does not attack. Instead, it seems to study us with the same curiosity we bring to it. Perhaps it is trying to understand the strange surface creatures who once hunted it so relentlessly. Today, sperm whales face new dangers: ship strikes, fishing gear, chemical contamination, plastic pollution, and an ocean growing louder every year, interfering with the very sounds they rely on to survive. Yet, they persist. Matriarchs still guide their families across migration routes older than human civilization. Calves still learn the dialects of their clans. Far below the surface, battles with squid still unfold in darkness untouched by sunlight, which leaves us with a humbling realization. Intelligence did not evolve once on this planet. It evolved more than once, in forms profoundly different from our own. So the next time you stand at the edge of the ocean, remember this: the surface is not the boundary, it is the beginning. Below lies a realm where giants hunt, where language travels through black water, and where minds utterly unlike our own are still thinking, still communicating, and perhaps, in ways we cannot yet comprehend, still wondering about us.